If Mike isn't around Deborah but is still having mysterious medical symptoms, he must have made a terrible mistake. Was he wrong about everything?
He had this persistent fever, and one of the things that can cause persistent fevers of unknown origin is infectious endocarditis.
This time, doctors can diagnose him. Mike has a bacterial growth on one of the valves of the heart. But is this a new illness or an effect of ricin poisoning? Because of Mike's earlier suspicions, doctors take his blood to send it for testing at a specialized lab. They hope to find if his body has built up antibodies to ricin.
You can't just do a broad smattering of tests and say, everyone who shows up at the hospital with diarrhea is going to get tested for poisoning. It's just so rare.
In the meantime, Mike has surgery to fix his weak heart valve.
It was a real ironic situation. You've got a cardiologist who spends his whole life studying people's hearts, dealing with things like infections in the heart, and yet this is what he had. He had an infection of his heart valves.
As Mike slowly recovers from his long illness, the results of his lab tests come back. Mike does have ricin antibodies in his blood. He had been poisoned.
I had been married to her for almost 17 years. While I certainly wanted to be divorced from her, and for a variety of reasons that I thought were valid, I never, ever would have thought that she would do something that was this evil, that was this mean.
Mike immediately gets shock number 2. Police investigating the house fire announce they believe Deborah set it.
Never once did it cross my mind that my children would be at risk. The one thing that I was confident of, even though my wife had tried to kill me, I was confident that she would never harm the children.
Deborah Green is arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, and aggravated arson. She is currently serving a 40-year sentence in a correctional facility in Kansas. How would Deborah ever come up with something like ricin poisoning?
She was an avid reader, and there was an Agatha